Namaste. I am Isha Das, and I am the spiritual director of the Assisi Institute in Rochester, New York. And in this brief video, I want to look at the coronavirus and its spread from a perspective of faith. Faith in God's providence, faith in God's love, and faith in humanity and the future. Let me start with a story. Many years ago, when I was in my early 30s, I had a wonderful meditation teacher. And I called him up one night in crisis and needing to talk to him. And he asked me a simple question: did you meditate today? I said, no, but I need to talk to you. A second time he asked, did you meditate today? I said, no, but I need to talk to you. I was getting a bit irritated. And he said to me, go and meditate. And if you still need to call me, then do so. But meditate first. And then he hung up on me. I meditated, and I had no need to call him afterwards. Where am I going with this story? Teresa of Avila, the great Catholic mystic from the 16th century, says, let nothing disturb you. Let nothing frighten you. Everything is changing. God alone is changeless. Patience attains the goal. He who has God has everything. End of quote. What Teresa is trying to communicate to us is that everything in material creation, everything in the external world is subject to change. The stock market changes, the weather changes, our health changes. The creation is always subject to change. Therefore, if we look for our ultimate security in the world, we are building a castle on sand. The world cannot sustain our security. It cannot take away, in any ultimate sense, our anxiety. God, who is love, God who is unchanging, God who is eternal, God is the source of our strength. God is the source of our security. So while we have to be engaged in the world and we have to use common sense while engaging the world, our hearts and our souls and our minds need to be rooted in that presence of the divine, in that unchanging love that will be present to us for all of eternity. It is that divine love that is the anchor, that is what stabilizes us in the midst of the turning world. That's what the Bible means when it talks about the peace that surpasses all understanding. It has nothing to do with circumstances and everything to do with God's eternal, unchanging faithfulness. Now, we have to use a very common sense approach to the coronavirus. Do what the medical community is telling you to do. For example, wash your hands often, etc. But we can't be overcome by some sort of mob mentality, by a collective consciousness of fear. Someone asked me the other day if I am afraid of the coronavirus, and I said no. I'm concerned, and again, I'm using common sense approaches to protect myself and my family, but I'm not afraid. What might frighten me, however, is the fearful response on the part of people and what that does in this crisis. For example, there are people who are stealing face masks from hospitals so that the staff and the patients that really need them don't have them. People are beginning to hoard things out of fear. See, when we operate from fear, we will eventually become irrational. Also, when we operate from fear, we cannot operate out of love. It's like the spiritual arteries get clogged and love can't flow through us. And if we're doing things not out of love but out of fear, ultimately it'll be destructive. I'm also concerned about the example that we're setting for our young people. Chaos and tragedy is an unavoidable part of human existence. And we can learn to respond to chaos and tragedy out of fear, or we can learn to respond with courage, with faith in God's providence, we can learn to respond with love. We can learn to carry ourselves with a God-inspired dignity in all circumstances. That's not burying our head in the sand. That actually makes us more wise, more skillful in navigating life's challenges and life's chaos and life's tragedies. So my encouragement to you is not to operate out of fear. Operate out of common sense, but also operate out of courage and love. This is a time for our innate greatness, or I should say our capacity for greatness, to rise to the surface. This is a time to be not our fearful self, but our highest and best self. And we do that not by stoic willpower, but by choosing again and again to tap into God's unchanging love, to God's unchanging presence. I'll close with this simple quote from Paramahansa Yogananda that captures really the pathway through these kinds of challenges. He said, read a little, think of God, and meditate and think of God always. Read a little, meditate, and think of God always. If we're thinking of God always, then we're plugged into a transcendental peace, a transcendental strength, a transcendental love that transcends all of the world's troubles. So again, read a little, meditate more, think of God always. If you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe, and send it to a friend. God bless you. Be well. Namaste.